Good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Eagle-Eyed Football, and we're in a good mood. We are in a good mood.
Yeah, definitely.
Yesterday, and if you haven't seen it, just obviously go onto the channel. You'll see our Eagle cams from myself, Jordan, and our guest today, Dan. Now, before I come to you, Dan, George, as always, how you doing?
I'm feeling good. I woke up feeling happy this morning, and I watched the extended highlights and
Good lad.
all the post match interviews. So that was all nice.
Good. And we have a special guest today, and you know this show wouldn't have happened had one, Dan not tweeted, and two, Jordan not sent this in our group chat. Dan, welcome
Hello.
to the channel.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
No, it's our absolute pleasure. The thread he did on VIEIRA was unreal. It was like, raw, this is so in depth, and I guess not all fans, but I'll speak for myself. Like, you kind of just watch the game and just kind of pick out bits that you can analyze and stuff. But the depth that you went into was crazy, you know. You're gonna find some very funny people in our chat, and you're gonna see one in a minute. But big up Jay and David Lee. No, thanks for tuning in, David. Eagles everywhere. Good evening to you too. Big up Super Nick. Hope you're well. And this is what I mean about funny guys. This could be the shortest stream you've done. The answer's obviously right. Big up vibes. Big up vibes. Before we get into what you're going to present to us, tell us a bit about like how you came about doing this. Because obviously you've got your own channel and you kind of focus on like the analytical side of it. Like, what brought you to that stage?
Well, to be honest, I'm actually I run a blog mainly. I do dabble in a bit of YouTube, but that's a bit more of like a side thing. Mainly, I'm just building up a portfolio just so I can get into football writing eventually. And I've always found the analytics side of it quite interesting as well. Specifically about the formations and stuff like that, it's kind of like my own personal vendetta against people who misuse stats a bit too much. And you'll see what I mean when I kind of talk about it. But yeah, and that's basically it. Just trying to build myself up really, and I find that particular part interesting.
That's awesome, and once again, thank you so much for joining us on our channel. You know,
thanks for having me.
And definitely wish you all the best. And if there's any way we can help support, push what you do, we're more than happy to do so.
Yeah, likewise.
And such. Right. Before we get into it, because we had a little sneak peek, and this is in depth. It's going to be a good one. Big up Roland from Pros Only TV, United fan, but he also does NBA content and watch-alongs as well. David Lee says here, Chelsea draw again. Yes, we're not happy about that. So just yeah. And big up Fox's Focus. Big up lads. Cheers for softening up Norwich for us.
We didn't need to soften them, mate. You'll be fine.
They were awful.
They softened themselves. They were terrible.
Wait, what would Nate say? They'd be soft.
And there's a G missing here. And no, it's not nipping. It's in the thumbnail. I need to actually have a check in that. I know Bradley's probably spotted something. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna leave it down to you.
Nice. Thank you very much. Yeah, this isn't the prettiest presentation in the world.
Well, you spelled VIEIRA right, so that's better than half Twitter straight away.
Honestly, that's one of my pet peeves. I hate when people do that. It's like, say it right. But anyway, I should have put VIEIRA, shouldn't I? But never mind. Right. So anyway, just a brief kind of like just a formation overview. So all of these graphics and stuff, I don't make them. I get them off these particular ones. I get off SofaScore. So if you ever want to have a look yourself, literally type in SofaScore. They got all different teams. They got every game, and they show you the heat maps of every game as well. They're really good. But anyway, these are two lineups. So the first one on the left is against Newcastle, and the second one's against Man City. Obviously, we drew against Newcastle, beat Man City. But generally speaking, you can see there's like a 4-3-3 formation, and it seems to be as well. Even with Luca in the side there, we still play quite well enough. We were unlucky not to win that game. So it shows that he can kind of slot in anyone wherever he wants. And this is Roy, possibly the most unsurprising thing in the world. He obviously loves a 4-4-2 formation. Surprisingly, this did actually change towards the end of his reign. He actually ended up going more towards like a 4-3-3, but predominantly, even in last season, it was mostly a 4-4-2. So one on the left is when we lost 7-0 to Liverpool, and Sheffield United on the right. Again, the personnel's near enough the same. I don't think that ever really changed, other than when we got Elliott injuries. But defensively, as you can imagine, compared to last season, I'm not talking about Roy's first season or his second season, only last season. But defensively, the actual outputs that he's done is what Vieira's done is so much better than what Roy had. Even though you think of Roy as being a much more defensive-minded coach, the results that actually came out of it are a lot better with Vieira. So Vieira this season, for example, we concede less shots per 90. We 1.4 shots less per 90 than Roy did. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about it, that's actually an 11.11% increase up to 14. So if you think about it, like if you have, you'll have, say you got 14 shots a game over a long period of games, that's going to be quite a few goals that adds up. And obviously, as you know, with football, like one goal can decide a game, one goal can win you 3 points. And also as well, what Vieira's managed to do is that the shots that we allow other teams is worse. I know, again, that doesn't look like a great big deal, 0.09 versus 0.1. I'll come back to what actually that means in a sec, but when you extrapolate over a large amount of shots, that ends up being quite a big difference. And what those 0.09 and 0.1 means, that's expected goals. So on average, for example, last season, on average, we would expect to concede a goal every 10 shots under Roy, whereas under Vieira, it's only about, about 1 in 11 or 1 in 12, which again, if you extrapolate over the hundreds of shots we get over a season, that could be like 5 or 6 goals just because we concede worse shots, basically. And then when you combine these two things together, that means that Palace this season under Vieira concede 0.4 less goals than last season per game. So this season, on average, we'd expect to concede 1.1 goals per game, or if you want, 11 goals every 10 games. Whereas last season, we would expect to concede 15 goals every 10 games. So you can see the difference there already. Yeah, and then obviously you got all those numbers, but what does that actually mean? It's all great we throwing out numbers hit left, right, centre, but what does that actually mean? But the simple answer is Palace are far less passive in defence. Last season, as I'm sure you all remember, we used to just sit back pretty much in our own box and just try and squeeze the space and try and break down the opposition's attack. But what with Vieira, we actually have more defensive actions per when you adjust for possession. And what I mean by that is that with possession, because we keep the ball a lot more this season than last season, theoretically that means that our defenders have less opportunity to actually make a tackle or intercept the ball or whatever. And what Vieira's done is he's made sure that we tackle more, we intercept more, and we block more, and because of that, we concede less goals, we concede less opportunities, so on and so forth. I mean, you can see that in Tyrek Mitchell's numbers. I mean, his numbers this season at left back are absolutely crazy. Like the amount of tackles he makes. I think he's the actual raw numbers, so not per game, but the raw numbers. I think Tyrek Mitchell's made the most tackles of like any fullback in the league, or something crazy like that. So I mean, you can see how Vieira's philosophy is going on just one player in and of itself. And yeah, and also not forgetting how we pressure. It's one of my favourite things about Palace this season is the way we pressure the ball. Again, despite the fact that we keep the ball a lot more than under Roy, the thing is, because we have the ball less under Roy, we would theoretically mean that we would press the ball more, because obviously we don't have the ball, so we're running after it more. And yet, even in spite of this, we pressure the ball more under Vieira now than we did under Roy. And not only this, but we do it in different areas of the pitch. I mean, one key scenario I remember was against Man City, when Edouard pressured the ball, won the ball. Zaha basically ran up the pitch and then scored. Yeah, exactly. Tyrek Mitchell, 55 tackles, most in the Prem. So yeah, I mean, you can see that with just even one player. And yeah, so as you can see here, I mean, proportionally, we make 22% of our pressures in the final third, which, you know, last season I remember standing there moaning, saying, why on our attackers pressuring the ball up front? But that's probably something that's Roy said to them not to do. And again, not only this, I don't know whether this is to do with how they do it or where they do it, but we pressure the ball more successfully too. So we do that 29% of the time now. And what that means, successful pressures, is winning the ball 5 seconds after, you know, a player run towards the opponent. And again, that doesn't sound like a lot, but that means we win the ball 6 times more theoretically than we did last season under Roy, which, you know, that could be the difference between conceding a good opportunity and not conceding a good opportunity.
Quick question on that.
Yeah, of course.
So how does our press, obviously, like this is the first season that we press, how does it differ to like maybe, like how can we compare them to like the presses of like a Liverpool, who are quite good at pressing? I know Man United now try to press and stuff. Like how do we compare?
That's a good question, and this is where I would kind of say, like, with what I would call the eye test. So the eye test is when you actually watch the team, and then that backs up the statistics that you find effectively. I think in numbers, just on their own, it's hard to say. But I would say what sets apart teams like Liverpool, from my experience, having watched them, not obviously as much as Palace, but having watched them, is that they do it in numbers, and they do it in numbers, and they do it cleverly. So like when you're attacking, when you're running towards the ball, and I know it's the same like when I play football, like when I play five-a-side, if you're just running up on your own, then you're going to get picked off easily. Whereas if you've got, say, like 3 or 4 players running after the ball, in fact, one particular goal I remember we scored when Townsend scored against Liverpool, which we managed to successfully break from Liverpool's press. But you saw, like, I put just before Jimmy Mack's pass up front, they had about 4 or 5 players on our player who were in our defensive third. So yeah, I would say that's probably what it is. It's just the numbers and making sure you're closing down properly, so you're closing down the space, and also the pass it, like, you know, who they can pass to, basically. I would say that's probably what sets them apart, definitely. I know in terms of like pressures, I think Leeds are not normally like near the top in terms of like numbers, which again, that goes back to what Bielsa does quite. He does, if anyone doesn't know, he does a thing called murder ball, which is basically just insane training to get their fitness up, so they're able to chase down balls in numbers effectively. But yeah, that's what I would say really for that. One
But
to
I still believe that Roy's. Well, if you're comparing us to Roy, I would say that with how we played under Roy, I think that the lack of pressing was more a tactical thing.
Yeah.
Because he said it that he didn't want Benteke, for example, to press so he could actually keep him fit the whole way through the Christmas period, because there were so many games and we had so little squad depth that he didn't want him running so much, so he'd stay as fresh as possible for as many games as possible, because we didn't have no one to rotate him with.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's something that is certainly a good point, because I had it a bit later on, but the actually I'll just go to it now. But you can see where is it? No, I can't see it. Oh, maybe I didn't. Maybe I cut it off. But anyway, but like last season, like you say, we had a lack of depth in squad, and also our average age last season was about, I think it's like 3 years more last season than it is this season. So yeah, like you say, do you really want your on average 31-year-old players running after the ball all the time and likely sustaining an injury? And yeah, and certainly like low blocks do work. I mean, like Atletico Madrid are a good example of a team who basically do what Roy did: sit back, let teams come onto them. So it can be done, definitely. But with Roy's, as you can see here, his tend to be a lot more again towards the back. I think only 17% of his presses were in the final third, whereas over 40% were in the defensive third. Also, not only this, as I think the biggest moan that anyone could have against Roy was his attack. I would say, for me, the prime adjective to describe Roy's football was turgid. And you can see that in the results in the attacking so far. I mean, we create 2 more shots per 90 this season than last season. Again, that doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, looking at the numbers, that's already about a 20% increase on last season. So if you're theoretically creating 20% more shots over the entire season, I guess theoretically that would be 20% more goals. And then conversely to defending, not only are we create better chances as well. So our non-penalty expected goals, so that's just expected goals taking away any penalties we've had per shot, but which is 0.1 this season compared to 0.9 this season. Again, that doesn't sound like a great deal, but if you say have 100 shots in the season, that's an extra it's an extra 10 goals. So these two things together mean that our XG has been more. One thing I will say about our XG, it's not as good as, like, if you compare it to the rest of the table, it's not that good. It's round about the table, but nevertheless, it's still a massive improvement on last season. I mean, you can look at that number anyway, 0.8. I know a lot of people don't necessarily believe in XG, but I mean, if you're creating on average less than a goal a game, I mean, you can see why people got the upper Roy's football. But then why is this? So tactically, why does this work? So again, these are from SofaScore. These are just the heat maps. So this is against Wolves. I thought it was quite a good barometer of game, because Wolves are a good side. And I feel like they're a side that on the day they could beat us, on our day we could beat them. So I think it's a fair game to choose. But you can see the midfielders, the 2 wider midfielders. So of that 3 that we had at the beginning, so we had James McArthur and Conor Gallagher before his injury, obviously. Conor Gallagher supports the attack on the right, whereas James McArthur does it on the left. You see these overloads of space in like every So as you can see, like, I mean, the Conor Gallagher is around about just outside the 18-yard box a lot of the time, as is James McArthur. So not only do you have Tyrek Mitchell and Joel Ward bombing forwards, trying to support the attack and create space, you also have them 2 as well. And this is why Conor Gallagher's done so well, I think, because he's the perfect player who can play in that system. And James McArthur as well. He's an unbelievable box-to-box midfielder, as we've known for a long time. I mean, he's got to be pushing 34. He's been one of our best fielders since he's joined us. So yeah, and then you have Chet Koyate who would screen the defense. He's effectively the defensive midfielder. Again, this season he makes significantly more tackles and defensive actions than he did last season, even though he kind of played in the middle last season. So that's what they tend to do. If there's anything else I need to say to that. Yeah. No,
Sorry, Dan.
Yes.
Just quickly.
Yeah.
The thing with Hodgson, right, is people will look at his last 2 years in charge and everybody goes mad about the lack of results or the awful results that we got. And fair enough, it was poor. The whole fan base was up in arms. It's no secret that the majority of the fans wanted him to leave. Some were a little bit more extreme with how they wanted him to go.
Yeah.
You know how Palace fans can be. Me personally was, listen, let him go in his own terms. Let's not be crazy here.
Yeah.
But if you really look at when he first came in and the season after that, we weren't brilliant to watch by any stretch, but we got enough results to stay in the league comfortably. We were never we weren't hovering over that dotted line. But if, granted, you can't take people on social media too seriously because there's a lot of things on social media that you're like,
definitely.
I don't know. But analysis like this, right? People are often going to be saying, "Oh, Conor Gallagher's done so well at Palace." He has because we're a football club now that we're trying to change how we play. We're trying to change our fan base's mentality. Boxing Day's defeat at Tottenham. Normally, we just we lost at Tottenham. Write it off. It is what it is. Move on.
Yeah.
Me, Rich, and JC were pissed that we lost. It's like, come on. We know we're going to get beat, but can we at least give it? If we see effort, we can go, okay, do you know what? We got beat fair and square, but we gave it some effort. We can live with that. And look, people kind of got a bit too carried away with the win yesterday. But to be fair, if we weren't beating Norwich 2-3-0, everybody would be up in arms. Because under Roy, in the last 2 years, we'd win that 1-0 or it'd be a stupid 1-0 or a poxy 2-1. It was never going to be convincing. At half-time, I was thinking, I'm happy with 3-0. I would take 3-0, but part of me wants more. And I'm not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm still in that balance of...
I think it's a good thing, and I mean, I think it goes without saying. I did an article about a month or two ago about the difference in the actual results between Roy and Vieira, and by that point, we'd actually gotten better results against Vieira. Which before the season, if you had told me before we got Vieira, before Lucien Favre and all that nonsense, if you had told me, we're going to be 11th by New Year's, I would have bitten your hand off because I was almost convinced we would be relegated or be near the relegation because of the personnel we had, because we had no manager and there wasn't really any prime candidates as such. I mean, I remember Eddie Howe being bandied about. People were happy to get Eddie Howe, which, let's be honest, he done well in the lower leagues, obviously, but I mean, is that something to get excited about? I don't know.
Yeah, trust me. I'm not on this Eddie Howe bandwagon. Trust me, because you look at he's gone. Why doesn't it shock me? He's gone to a money club. Granted, Newcastle can't spend that money yet, but you're looking at it thinking you can spend all the money they have. You are not making Newcastle a world-class team within the next 5 years, primarily because. With all due respect to Newcastle, who are a massive club, who've got a great fan base, and I respect the football club. You've got to really think about it. Newcastle have been out of Europe for so long; it's going to be hard to attract players to go there. It's not a question of they're not a big club. Of course they are. But if a club from London, Liverpool, or Manchester comes calling, they ain't picking Newcastle as a first choice destination unless Newcastle all of a sudden becomes the California of England, which, trust me, if you've ever been Newcastle, it ain't. Well, you ever done Newcastle away on a Tuesday night? You know what I'm saying? Newcastle away is peak, especially coming from the Republic of Ireland, because you're like, I could have got the train from London, it would have been quicker. For fuck's sake. But when you're really deep, the likes of Eddie Howe and all these kind of managers, Vieira was never our first choice, but you know what it is? Nuno Espirito Santo, thank God dodged that bullet.
Definitely.
Lucien Favre, if he didn't fancy it, we don't want him. If you don't want the job, we don't want you, because there's no point in having someone who doesn't want to be here. Case in point, Wilfried Zaha. I'm kind of thinking, do you know what, Wilf? just go for your own benefit. Just go. Do you know what I'm saying? Get your move away. We'll take whatever money we get and we'll move on because we have the ability now to go and blood our youth. Find somebody in the lower leagues to go. Do you know what? You're not Wilfred Zaha's level, but you could maybe be better than him.
Yeah.
You could maybe be the new kind of player that we're looking for that he probably can't be.
I mean, to be fair, I think we've got good options in those areas. I mean, I saw someone comment saying, "Can Eze do this role?"
Yeah.
I think to be honest, the only answer is I don't really know because my concern with Eze, because obviously he's a winger and he's an attacking minded player. My concern would be more, can he do that? Can he do the defensive work that James McCarthy or Conor Gallagher does? I have absolutely no doubts he could do it on the wings, like where Edouard plays or Ayew plays. I've got no doubts about that at all. But then at the same time, Eze's very young. He could very easily learn off James McArthur or whoever else could play that role. I don't see why he couldn't develop that facet of his game. And I'd like to think eventually, yes, one day he could. Maybe with the support of someone like Will Hughes, who's a lot more dynamic than perhaps some of our other midfielders. Maybe that would help the defensive burden. But I think right now probably not. I wouldn't want to rely on him. But in the future, I don't see why he couldn't.
Sorry to interrupt you, but can I just say £6 million sterling for Will Hughes? Yeah. I'm actually willing to kind of give Watford a bit of credit here and go, do you know what, Watford, fair play. You're still dead. There's no, I'm not trying to be too nice here, but do you know what? To take $6 million off us for him, I'm actually happy we spent that money because we've gone from Jordan Much to Will Hughes, and my Christ, have we suffered with some awful midfielders and strikers.
I think we paid a lot more for Jordan Much as well.
No, we paid just a little bit less, but trust me, I haven't. It's only because we got Eze off QPR that they're slightly forgiven because I'm like, I don't know if I can forgive QPR just yet. But you got to look at it. If people had said to me, we'd have players like Eze, Elise, Edouard, Hughes come through this season, I probably wouldn't. Most of them I'd be like, don't know too much about them. Yeah. But I got to admit, it's kind of crazy because we know we're not going to be one of those teams that just flies up the league table, but we're comfortable in the arguably the higher up end of the bottom half of the table. It's not like, oh shit, we're 17th and looking nervously over our shoulder. Yeah, I'm thinking
12 points clear.
I'm thinking we can still be dragged in with a bad run of results. Bear in mind we've got 2 massive games in the league coming up straight away in between it, with a cup game in between, with the derby in between. So it's like, of all the times to have the South London derby between 2 massive games in the league, I mean, don't get me wrong, it's 3 massive games that we have to be up for because West Ham at home is always a tasty one. Playing them lot away in the cup is like, do they know what they've done? And then obviously we've got to play our friends on the South Coast, which you know how that one goes. But you look at it thinking, the work that's been done the last 2 years to identify these kind of players, people need to stop slating Dougie. Because everybody was like, what's Dougie doing? Why is he here? Why did he come back? And the whole rest of it, you're thinking, there's a reason he came back. Because who identified Yannick Bolasie? I wonder who did that.
I was going to leave this one till the end, but I mean, on one of my last slides, that's one thing you need to consider with like Roy versus Fee. I mean, look at those signings that, like you say, Dougie has done. Guéhi, Anderson, Elise, Edouard, Gallagher, Hughes, and all for a combined total of what, about, I think, if I had to guess, about what, 40 million, something like that. I mean, to identify those players and turn that around. Obviously, Vieira's has helped Vieira a lot. I mean, he has been exceptional, and I'm hoping
66 million.
66 million, yeah, exactly. I mean, 66. Some teams will spend that on one player. Do you know what I mean? Like,
that's true.
But gentlemen, I saw a Norwich fan earlier on, and like I said, don't take what you read on social media too seriously. But I had a Norwich fan say it's not fair that teams that are Celtic fans, say it's not fair that teams like Palace can spend 30 odd million. And I said, big man, we don't spend 30 million on one player. We spend 66 on practically your whole squad. And you know what the beauty of that is? 15 of that was on your striker. How them tears sounding, mate? By the way, Palace Mad Mason, who's a Palace vlogger, has asked us to shout out his channel. So, Mason, Mason, this is for you, mate. I've watched some of his content. He's got some good content. His reaction to the cup draw was hilarious. His reaction to that cup draw was brilliant. He's like, I don't want Millwall. I don't want Millwall. The next thing, we've got Millwall. Mason, just to let you know, my reaction was totally different because it was like, it's Millwall. It's beeping Millwall.
Yeah, big up. Like he reached out to me yesterday, in fact, and stuff. So big up to him. Thanks for even tuning in today. And stuff. So if you haven't done so
also, big up Tristan03, by the way. Tristan's vlogs at the games are so funny.
Yeah, I've subscribed to him as well. He's got some excellent content. But go over and subscribe to Palace Mason as well. A few more comments. David Lee here says, I like Eze. We all do, trust me. Good evening.
Yeah. Does he mean Easy E? We want easy. JC's too young for that, so he probably won't get what I mean.
No way. There's always Google. David Lee also says, I don't know, wages make some players move, which is the point.
True.
Which is the point.
When you've got extra money, though, you can pay them wages.
True.
You can. Guys, if you get a minute, you've got to go and watch the Man United Burnley preview with Maisie and Dan. Absolute banter. And the comment section was going in.
Yeah, big up Maisie though. Big up Maisie and Dan to be fair.
And Dan, Dan sent for me. Listen, I'm not going to live this Lionel Richie thing down. You know, I've embraced it. I've embraced it.
Hey, you've been Lionel Richie, Sherman Clump, bruv. You've been taking all kinds of corn, bruv.
No bit.
Hey, don't worry. I've been called an Ewok by one of our own, so it's not. You're not the only one. Do you know what I'm saying? Even though I'm standing the Sith Lord look today.
I'm just happy I haven't been called out of anything yet.
JC, yet is the operative word. Yet is the operative word. Although you do love a brace.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna happen for Edward yesterday, but
I can't find which stream that is on, and it's annoying me.
I'm still looking for all that snorty, brother. I swear to God, I want to find that like mad.
There is no evidence of this.
It's definitely one of the previews, and I've got to have to. So,
I think I know which one it is actually. I think I know which one it is actually. I'll message you privately off stream.
Yeah. Big up, Moss.
JC's getting nervous now. I see you getting nervous, JC.
These men going behind my back, you know.
Hey, listen. Everybody's going to be taking shots in these rows, boys. So I'm expecting some fire sent back at me. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Moss says, "I love that Gooner saying he has no experience and only Nice. I did a brilliant job with New York, which he did. English too pompous to even consider MLS as good training grounds.
Some English fans, not all of us. Some of us actually give the MLS credit where it's due.
100%. We were definitely happy. Like I said from the jump, like the fact that he went there shows he's not cocky. He was willing to learn, and he's come back and he's made us so much better. To be fair,
put it this way: if you offered us Tony Pulis or Patrick Vieira, we're definitely taking Patrick Vieira. So don't even worry about it. He could have worked at Morrison's. He could have worked at Sellers. Anyway, just no.
Yeah, I don't know. Is Connor ready for Saturday?
I don't know. I've not heard anything more from that, I have to say.
If it is COVID, he can't be ready because it happened because he either got COVID the day of Spurs or the day after Spurs, and it's not been however long the quarantine is. So that's just if he got it and then didn't get it. So we don't know if he's had it for like a couple of days, and then it's just a bit COVID shit.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I've not heard anything more from it, to be honest. So.
No news is good news. Put it that way. Let's not. Please, for the love of God, with the way that people reacted after Boxing Day, I don't want to hear no kind of alarm bells ringing off in this fan base because Palace Twitter is toxic as shit. When there's a possibility that player A is missing, that's probably a good thing. If he's missing for a few more days and then comes back purely healthy, we can live with that. That's the whole point of having a 25-man squad.
And our squad is a lot better than it was. So
definitely.
And if need be, what's that thing we have that we just spent £20 million on? we could use that. Oh, but wait, if we do, well, apparently we're getting relegated. Seems if we beat Millwall in the cup with our kids, that would just be the most funniest thing ever.
I hope Rakteki's getting over his COVID for that match.
He'll be back banging the goal. He'll bang a goal.
Banging a top binner from 45 yards out, watching all them caravans flee to Kent, quick time out of Bermondsey.
Nah, they'll be waiting for us outside the stadium, mate.
Yeah.
Do you really reckon half of them will be out after school, mate? I don't think so.
Oh, they won't even fill off their stadium.
Oh, apparently it's due to the fact that it was on 4 yellows, and now it goes back to 0.
Oh.
Yeah, that's true because
I didn't know.
On New Year's Day it resets.
It doesn't. It's a certain amount of you have to play. You have to go without a card for that next 5 or 6 games, and then it resets. It's not a cut-off date. It used to have a cut-off date, but it's not anymore.
Oh, they changed it. Okay.
So if Gallagher gets a yellow, he's suspended for the next match. So that's why we took him off so early against Spurs.
Oh. That makes sense. Right.
Crack right on, Dan. Sorry.
Right. Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, a slight
deviation.
A bit of foreshadowing. But yeah, when this is the only thing I've got that I'm a bit not slightly worried at, but like I don't think James McCarthy's been properly replaced since he's been out. Don't get me wrong, we've played well whilst in some games whilst he's been out, but I don't think we found anyone who really replicates where he is. And the problem was with what did you call it? Lucate.
El Yato.
Them two can't, as you can see by his heat maps, they just don't really gel. I mean, like the Burnley game, for example, and this might explain why Wilf hasn't perhaps performed as well recently as he has done. I mean, look at the heat maps on the left-hand side where Wilf is. Conor Gallagher's on the right. Luka Milivojevic is anonymous. And I mean, Koyate, yes, he does get kind of near there, but when you compare that to like where James McCarthy's heat map was, it's a lot.
Sorry, Dan, I just have to correct you slightly. Luka Milivojevic isn't anonymous; he's invisible. He doesn't exist because the last time I seen him, he scored a penalty against Bournemouth. That's the last time I remember seeing him actually play well. Since then, it's just like we have this guy called our captain. He's apparently from Serbia and he'll murder you, but I haven't seen him.
No, I was shocked. He whipped in 2 good corners against Norwich. I was shocked. I haven't seen him whip in 2 good set pieces in a row. Well, a set piece for a long time.
I think whatever
Bournemouth first game after lockdown, right? I think that's the last free kick he scored.
Whatever drink you had out in the ground must have been spiked because sometimes the drinks in Sellers Park they taste a bit weird. I don't normally buy drinks in the ground because I'm a bit wary of drinking beer in the ground.
I think they're just flat, to be honest.
Yeah, so Rich knows that beer yesterday was shit, and I told him it was shit.
You weren't happy with it at all.
No, fucking Carlsberg.
I mean,
hey, listen, if you buy Carlsberg, you deserve it.
Yeah, Carlsberg's not the best beer at the best of times, to be fair.
Although, in fairness, if you're in the middle of an absolute limbs fest in the Cherry Tree, it kind of makes up for it if there's all sorts of shit going on in the Cherry Tree. That's when it kind of makes it worth it.
The cherries.
Just to throw it.
Right.
Proper old school Green Street.
I think with the Gallagher situation, I think he now avoids it. I'm reading into it. It's talking about the 19th game.
Okay.
So it does. Premier League website says here, Crystal Palace, Liverpool, Norwich, Southampton and West Ham each completed their 19th fixture in game week 20, ensuring their players are no longer at risk of an immediate suspension.
Okay, so it does reset. I was thinking, I'm sure it resets. Because if they changed it, then there would have been some form of an announcement across the Premier League and across the 20-member club. So I was thinking, if they changed it, I don't remember seeing that. But
I mean, to
Yeah,
be
it
fair,
does, because they've even given. Sorry to cut you. They've even given a list of all the players that are 1 yellow card from a ban, which means they probably haven't got to their 19th game yet.
Yeah.
So Gallagher's all right.
Oh, that's right then.
So hopefully, if it's not the C word, he should be their side.
Let's hope. Because I guess, I mean, like, to get like 5 yellow cards over an entire season, that's quite a lot, isn't it? Like, that's quite, yeah, you're probably going to get 5 yellow cards over a season if you're a midfielder.
Yeah.
But yeah. And yeah, so with and then I got the Aston Villa game as well. As you can see, that was the worst game. I know Milivojevic isn't great, but by his standards, he was awful that game. As you can see, it looks like he just stood in front of the penalty box, and then that meant Koyate had to go and help him as well because he was particularly terrible that game, which meant that the left-hand side got completely neglected. And again, Zaha, I don't think played well that game, which, I mean, the lack of support might suggest why. And interestingly, if you actually look at the formation of this game, Milivojevic and Koyate were actually defensive midfielders, and Gallagher was playing like behind the striker. And I mean, if you look at Gallagher's heat map, even though he was supposed to play in that position, naturally he obviously doesn't do that. So again, that didn't really work. And some stats and scenarios just to back up this point about the overload of the wings. Palace's second goal against Leicester, that was actually originally crossed in by MacArthur, so it came from out wide. Gallagher obviously has scored a lot, has assisted a lot. Particularly, he got forward for Edouard's goal against Arsenal. And finally, MacArthur's statistics, he passes more and crosses more into the box than before. So last season, he didn't make any crosses into the box and only completed one pass every other game. Whereas this season, he's now making he makes a completed pass into the box and roughly across every game. So obviously you can see how his game has changed from last season. And then when you look at this as like a team, obviously it's no secret that Vieira wants us to play out the back, whereas Roy perhaps didn't so much.
Wait, hold on. Roy wanted us to play at the back. I must have missed this. Was I asleep? Was I in a coma?
Other way around.
No, it's cool. It's cool, Dan. It's cool. Look, it's cool. What I'm saying is that, wait a minute. Was I in a coma? I must have been hit over the head again. Not the first time. Nah, it's cool, Dan. It's cool.
But yeah,
Roy playing at the back? What?
No chance. He loved it long. Interesting. I'll show you a stat in the set which kind of shows you that. But yeah, I mean, we attempt 90 more passes this season than last season, and the type of pass is different as well. 14% of our passes last season, of the how many is that? The 10,500 of them, 14% of them were long balls. Whereas this season, weirdly, Roy had more short passes than Vieira does, but I'm going to get onto why I think that is in a sec. But we tend to have a lot more mid-range passing, so anything between about 15 to 30 yards. But yeah, the reason why I think that is that from memory, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but from memory, I seem to remember we would get the ball, work it very slowly to their box, and then we would kind of short pass it across the box to the other wing and just seem to do that left to right until they basically tackled us or blocked the ball and then obviously won the ball back. And opponents would do this because they know if they phased Zaha out the game last season, they know that there was no way we could break it down because our passing, well, no one would make forward passes. They would just wait for us to just pass it all along the box, which I think makes sense with that 45% passing because that's basically all we did in attack. We never really crossed the ball from what I remember. This was Andros Townsend just aimlessly passing it, crossing it across the box. But yeah, it just never seemed to really do anything. Some more observations with Roy as well. Zaha often played up front with Benteke, but similarly to Gallagher, even though, yes, he played Zaha up front, naturally he's going to drift wide because he's a winger. And if he's gone wide, perhaps that's why Benteke was so isolated a lot of the time. And interestingly, even though we make we make significantly more 90 more passes a game, Benteke was subject to 10 more passes going towards him than this season, and that's per 90, so it balances out. So why is that? So was that Roy's plan? Just lump it long to Benteke, hope he wins a header for Zaha, and then we win the ball and then pass it at, along the box. For me, that feels like
the problem was though last season when we tried that is that you're seeing what should have happened this year with Benteke and Edouard, because they're both strikers. They both know what the flick-on's going to do.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
Zaha's a winger, he's running off wide. Benteke's flicking it on, looking there, and Zaha's fucked off to the wing again. So obviously, it's not going to work out.
Zaha's chasing the bus home, bruv. Man's running after the bus.
Yeah, exactly.
He saw the 468 back to Croydon.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean,
probably a 109. If he gets the 468, he'd get lost, bruv.
Or the 130 back to New Addington.
Look, any bus around the ground, Wilfred Zaha would get lost. Be it the 75, be it whatever bus goes around Selhurst, he'd just get lost.
His missus lives in Elephant Castle, man. Got the 196 all the way.
Oh man,
that's a journey,
That bus is a mission. I've got it many times.
That is a long way.
I know about the 196, but you know what it is? It's one of these where, if you look at when Roy would play Wilf up front, you were just thinking, we have Jordan Ayew who can play there. Granted, Jordan Ayew is by no means a 20-goal-a-season clinical striker. We all knew that when we signed him for, what was it, 2.5 million, something like that. Fair enough. Our record with strikers is dead anyway, so it's no shock that we've signed another striker that might hit 5 goals a season. Not definitely will, but might hit 5 goals a season. Cool. Because you're looking at it thinking, what we would give for Andy Johnson 0405 right now.
Oh, mate, honestly.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you gave us Dougie Freedman, I think it was in 97, 98, and Andy Johnson in 0405 in this team, my Christ, we'd score goals for fun. Yeah, now, obviously, I don't want to go too back far in time because we could talk about Mark Bright and Ian Wright and all that. But,
definitely.
But what I'm trying to say is that as much as Roy gets a lot of stick off the fan base, Roy ball this, Roy ball that, I said that earlier in the comments. I'm thinking, do you know what? It wasn't pretty. It wasn't ideal to watch. And I was never happy watching Palace and the Royals. Like,
No, yeah. Those years, yeah.
Only because I love the club and I respect the man because he's doing the job we're paying him to do. And let's be fair, the job he's did is why we're playing this way now. He stabilised the club to the point where we're no longer thinking, we might get relegated. Now we're thinking, what? Relegation? Us? Nah, mate. You got to remember, up until, I think, the FA Cup season, people were still talking about, we could get relegated. Mate, enough with this relegation talk.
Yeah.
Granted, Pardew fucked that season because it's like, mate, what are you doing?
I still haven't watched the highlights back of the FA Cup final.
I just can't forgive. Look,
let us not go back there, please.
Right, yeah, moving on.
No, hey, listen. We still have the Darren Ambrose goal. Let's just remember that we do have some kind of, you know what I'm saying? We just look at, you know what I mean? Bear in mind, we played a second string team and scored and won that game that night.
I think we could go on a good run this season. I don't see why we couldn't.
I really hope we can.
Look, we win the derby on Saturday. We get a relatively favourable draw, ideally at home. You never know. But
I want someone mad away.
You know what it is? If they were still in it, I would love to get the Clowns in the 4th round for the banter. That would just be so jokes.
Oh, could you imagine Mill away and then the Clowns?
Big up David Lee. Thanks for tuning in, mate.
Big up David. Big up.
Right. Right. This is the last slide. So this is just to kind of sum it all up. Again, going back, our transfers this season is equality. The only thing I do want to say about Roy's teams is that I know I've been banging on about stats the entire time, but Roy's teams have always been a bit of a statistical enigma. Like, they've never really turned out particularly good statistical results, but they've always managed to get points. And again, like you were saying, I never ever, until probably if we had kept Roy this season, yes. but all the seasons we had him, I never felt in danger of being relegated. Even though we never played well, I never genuinely felt like we were going to get relegated. I always felt like there were 3 teams who would end up with less points than us.
Yeah.
And I mean, and again, like he never played good. He never played particularly nice football. I mean, he got Fulham to Europa, or was it Europa Cup then?
Yeah, Europa League.
Yeah.
You,
and I mean,
you say that, Dan, but
yeah.
do you know what? The first season, 17-18, where we peppered Leicester 5-0. Granted, I know they had 10 men, but if you look at the highlights of that game, they weren't any. And this is Leicester that won the league 2 years prior. I'm thinking they won the league title 2 years ago, and we've absolutely rinsed them.
Yeah,
I've got a friend.
Hull City as well. Last game of the season.
Yeah.
We scored after like 30 seconds.
Oh, that was hilarious. But you see, with the Leicester game, you're looking at it and thinking, we're awful at home. Period. Bear in mind, this is the same team that got smoked at home by Sunderland the season before. So do you see what I'm saying? The context is very important because that was the turning point with Allardyce and everything. It was like, Parish, if you value the legacy that you've deservedly built at this football club, you need to act fast. Because that Allardyce football was getting on my nerves. I went to Watford away on Boxing Day that year. Oh my Christ. I don't know what was more traumatizing. Having to hear Watford fans trying to sing our songs or getting the tube back from Watford to London. Oh, mate.
I don't get why they. I don't get why they do that. But I remember, was that before? Was that before when we lost 4-0 to Sunderland? That was the same season, I think.
Yeah. We played Watford away at Boxing Day. Kabay scored a pen. Oh no, sorry. Kabay scored, and then we had a pen and we missed it. And then the Watford fans were laughing at us, and Harry the Hornet, in his question, in fear of his life, by the way, a grown man in a mascot costume was in fear of his life. Mate, I'd be afraid of the school kids in the Watford area if that thing's around. Nah, mate, come on, less of that. And Richard's a teacher, so Richard know what I'm talking about. But when you look at certain fixtures that Roy had to put up with when he came in, like, bear in mind, the very first time that we beat Brighton, I know I just swore on stream, but I don't give a shit. He got the first win.
Is it twice?
That's number 2.
What do we need? Strength, boy. Fullback more than likely. Bear in mind, the first win between us and who got that win? Roy Hodgson. And bear in mind, the greatest win in the Premier League between both sides. Roy pulled off a masterclass. We got peppered last season. And somehow, from somewhere, from the Milky Way galaxy to Tatooine to, I don't know, Planet Vulcan, Benteke found that ball and it hit the back of the net, and you could just feel those poor Chelsea and Liverpool fans watching their plucky little second team dying inside. It was like, oh, I'm sorry. Did your plucky second team lose their biggest game of the season having battered us?
I'd just like to say, I think that's the only accurate cross Townsend registered that whole match.
Yeah, I think so.
I'm just amazed it was on target.
And even then, even then, looking at it now, the cross was overhit.
It was overhit, yeah.
Yeah, it was.
It hit the back of the net, and you could just feel the commentators, because the commentators were so up their arse. It was like, oh, they play such great football. They should be higher in the table. They couldn't, could they? Benteke in the middle. Benteke!
Mate, I'm not gonna lie. I was doing Benteke celebration around the front room.
Hey, listen. If you ever watch Tristan's watch along, right? Tristan 03's watch along for that game. Him and his dad's reaction, the scream, was just like, oh Christ! Watch it on the lowest volume possible, because oh man. But I saw a Seaweed fan's reaction to it, and he immediately just smacks off his headphones. You can just see him dying inside. It's like, what? But let's not forget. Didn't they say they were going to finish above us? We gave them a 7-game head start, and we still finished above them.
Yeah, we did. We've only finished below them like once in 40 years, and that was the year we beat them in the playoffs.
Say that again, please. I don't think I heard you correctly.
We've only finished below Brighton once in 40 or 45 years, and that was the season we beat them in the playoffs.
And remind me again. I'm pretty sure a certain person called Craig McHale Smith was better than Glenn Murray, right?
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Who was that? And that youth player was apparently better than Zaha.
Oh yeah,
but Buckley. Wonder where he's at now. Probably some non-league team.
Bridcut's better than Jedinak, apparently. Who?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
let's not forget Lewis. I couldn't believe that when he got sent off at Selhurst last season, that was the second time he'd been sent off at Selhurst Park in that fixture. I went, oh yeah, I forgot he got sent off in the 3-0 in the champ. That was hilarious because he cleans out Balassi. Is like, mate, I forgot how much I hate this guy because I was there for that because I flew over the night before from Dublin. It was like, please don't lose. I don't want to be flying back depressed. I got so drunk at Gatwick Airport after that game. I was afraid they wouldn't let me on the flight. I had to pretend to sober up. Like, must pretend to be sober. Oh, mate, it was just so enjoyable.
Evening, Sonny. Thanks for joining us today.
Palace.
Brad, you're a pagan, by the way. I've seen your little comments, you little dickhead.
You know, this was really insightful, actually.
Yeah, now big up to you, Dan. That was fascinating.
I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't go on too much with numbers.
Hey, they have to listen to me. They have to listen to me every stream. Don't worry, you're fine. These poor bastards are stuck with me, so you're fine.
Yeah, if you ever want me back, I'll be more than happy to come back.
We might have to get you on a permanent basis at this rate.
Thank you very much.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, sign him up, yeah?
I think we're gonna have to sign the thing. Get those heat maps up on different streams and that.
We found Mr. Statman Dan.
Statman.
I wasn't going to call myself Statman Dan, but there's a guy on YouTube called Statman Dave, so I thought that's cutting it too close.
Yeah, but he's a Man United fan. Don't mind him.
Yeah, true.
Plus, he was on that certain Manchester United channel that they gave us some seriously good memes.
Yeah.
Give it gigs to the end of the season. What? Sorry? Nah, less than that.
Moise, give it gigs at end of season.
You dirty bastard.
Martial will be the best player in the world.
Second half of the season, we're on a title charge.
Really great in-depth show. No, 100%. Something different, like you said.
You are the biggest fool in Manchester. You have lost the fans tonight.
It's April Fool's Day.
7th for this season.
No. I don't want to be nowhere near that Conference League thing. Are you mad?
We don't.
We're not going.
If we're talking European football, 6th, yeah, I'd be gassed at that. But Europa Conference League football, listen, if Tottenham gets slapped by a team named after one of their players, I want no part in that. Because if we're playing MacArthur FC, don't get me wrong, I'd go. If they're playing St. Patrick's Athletic, I'm definitely there, bro. Don't worry about that.
No, we're not getting 7. There's too many other teams that if we
hey, Dan, never say never. This is Palace. Bear in mind, season we got promoted, we were favourites to get relegated.
True.
Smell a crossover watch along when we play you next.
End of the season, Brad. We'll see. Because Ralph might be out of a job by then. Because I thought he was the saviour, and these man got put to the sword by Newcastle because they laboured to a 1-1 draw. But beating Palace, they were back from the dead apparently. No, you were just dead.
May 22nd, I think it is.
Last game of the season.
I've got to be there. That's my birthday. I've got to make sure I'm there. Have to make sure I'm there. Any way, shape, or form.
I've only got one more question for Dan though.
Yeah.
Right before we end.
Yeah, go on.
So with everything we discussed between Roy's team and the changes that Vieira made in his team, do you think that Vieira's style of play would have worked with the players that Hodgson had? Because I think that we would have got relegated if we didn't have textbook money.
That's a good question. I don't think so. I think for me, Roy was a stopgap we needed. I think he did that with crap players, and also as well like with like financial fair play, because we spent a lot of money when we was with Allardyce, so we needed that time with those crap players, and I don't think Vieira's style would necessarily worked, because I mean I look at all the players who have been really good this season and really fit Vieira's style, and I think they're all players who have been brought in, like Gay, Anderson, both passing centre backs. Conor Gallagher obviously fits it perfectly. Edouard's been quality on the wing, and can play up front as well. I think without those particular players, I don't think we got relegated as such, because I think there's some terrible teams this season, but I don't think we would have done well.
Put it this way: if you're asking Gary Cahill, Scott Dan, Patrick Van Aanholt, just stay with me here. James McCarthy and a couple of other these Donnies that we've had play for us to play at the back. No, Townsend could do it, because Townsend can actually play a bit of football. Granted, he goes missing half the time, but stay with me here, right? You're asking these men to quite literally run the London Marathon, because they can't do it. Bear in mind, Patrick Van Aanholt goes forward and can't go backwards. He has no reverse button. I mean, granted, there's times where he defends in reverse, because you're just thinking, you're a left back. Was your brain left back on the kitchen table? Because it must have been.
There was one part of Twitter that I loved when we had Van Aanholt. It was always a freeze frame of the goal. Where's Van Aanholt? He's still at their corner flag. Oh no!
Or the famous one was who used to get all the smoke from?
Remember when Van Aanholt tried to do an overhead kick against United, and then they scored, and he was just left on the floor like a waste man.
Big up James said he missed the stream. You're still partying after Mateta's goal. That's probably it.
You missed the stream like Mateta's missed chances in the first team, mate. This is what happens when you're repping Mateta, bruv. As much as he played well on yesterday, it's still Mateta. Like, he's a less shit Jimmy Kebe. I'm sorry, but I'm gonna call it as I fucking see it here. Like, this guy is Elliot Grandin and Jimmy Kebe's love child, and that is not an image in my head I want to ever hear again.
Indeed.
If he scores a winner, if he scores a winner against Millwall, he's got to be considered a Palace legend, surely, after his goal against his winner against Brighton, winner against Millwall.
That's 2 squares.
That's 3 actually. Wait a minute, he's taking over me. He swore 3 times.
What?
Hey, you two are slipping actually, so I don't know what you two are getting gassed about. Wait a minute. Hold up a minute. See, they're waiting for me to slip up, but when they slip up, all of a sudden, they're on nip and settings out here. Wait a sec. I see what it is. And there's JC trying to...
My Wi-Fi hasn't caught up yet. I don't know what you're talking about.
Your Wi-Fi, more like your attention span, little man.
Just because I'm short, you can't say that, big man.
I'm not that tall, mate, so I'm not even trying to be the big man out here. But if you want to go there, we'll go there. Now,
listen,
but
it's so peak that I have to get Rich to not stand on the step when I'm recording it, because it's a bit of
Bruv, nah, JC. You know what it is, Rich? Stay with me here, right?
I'm going to.
This man is Gimli, bruv. Shall I describe it to you, or shall I find you a box? I'm sorry, JC, but you shouldn't have said that, bruv.
No, because I even said it to Rich yesterday. I said, mate, I need a stool.
He told me off. He goes, do you mind if you step down, please?
Hey, they're not ready for the 3 of us telling gut then, because JC's gonna get very, very upset.
Well, yeah, I told Rich that I need to bring a stool next time.
You know what it is? I'll find you a cardboard. I'll find you a plastic box to stand on. You know them plastic crates.
Yeah, I've got a little blue stool in my kitchen. So
JC, if it helps, I'll just sit down next time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Or we'll get JC some stills and put him up on the high rise.
So
it's
to
always
answer
a
your
joke.
question, yeah, Mateta just needs to go out in January. Irregardless of AFCON, we'll find a way. We'll find a way.
You know what it is? As much as I feel bad for him, yeah, because it's quite clear that he's not as trash as some of the strikers we've brought in. Letting him go would be perfect to give the likes of Rob Street a shout. Is Rob Street the answer? I don't know. Personally, I'm not convinced that all our academy players are amazing, because let's be fair, 1 in 3 probably make it. But the kids, all the hype we're hearing about the Omalabus, Raksakis, Adaramolas, and all these, okay, not all of them are going to get in straight away. But if we beat them lot in the cup, mate, I'm going to be so happy, because that's everything. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I've even said, like, let's say 4 points from the 2 league games, yeah? So let's say a draw at West Ham and a win over the Beeps. I'd be gassed. Imagine a last-minute own goal from Lewis Dunk. That would just be beautiful.
That would be beautiful.
Do you know what upset me about last year's win, yeah? Do you know what was missing from that?
The fans.
That was at the away end. Can you imagine the fucking limbs in the away end of the ground when Benteke claps that volley into the net? Mate, like, it would have eclipsed the limbs in the away end for Zaha's second. It's like, oh man, because even Ayu's goal, because obviously remember Ayu scored I think the year before. You're like, they hate playing us at their place, because it's like all this hype of, oh, we're a great football team now. Mate, we're still coming to the yard and taking the bag. So just leave it at the door. We'll pick it up and go back. And we don't want to go there anyway.
This is it.
Go in there on the train. It's peak, bruv.
Oh yeah, it's an awful place to get to.
Having to get one of them dirty ass trains that was built in like the fucking 40s or something. Nah, man. Nah, bruv. Less of that.
Let me go through the rest of these comments. We're favourites to go down every season. When will people put respect on our name?
I don't know about that.
No, I think it's referring to like the media, just kind of saying that we're always favourites. We never get any respect.
Yeah, but don't ever listen. Don't let the media tell you that. Oh, whoa! Look who's sending shots.
This is why. Don't worry. This is. Let me say. You know what? I don't send shots to people down here in it. So if you was to come click the link, see what happens to him like yesterday. How's that Digicel?
You know what?
If you want to know and you want to send me a card, because you'll probably have to send it from now, knowing your internet and connection and all that. I'll be 35. I'll be 35. 35 years young.
Your moon pig's slow from Jamaica then.
Could you probably call it moon cow? He sent it for you too. Mateta is the boss. Shot the block cut, mate.
Mateta's the boss of what? The training ground. Listen, uno seco yourself, yeah? Calm down.
And then he went for you too, George. Try and get Jordan.
Okay, man. Man's going for the team now. Okay.
Let's see what he brings to the roast then. Let's see what he brings to the roast.
Oh no. We're gonna turn the tables on him.
Oh yeah.
Listen, Sean, like you said when we spoke to you the other time in Eagles Abroad Jamaica, you don't want to turn into hamster. It will happen very quick.
Or, more importantly, he'll go through a little tirade and probably attack one of us, and then you hear the person you have called is unavailable. Please try again when the weather improves.
Big up Rob Carey as always, man. And I've thrown some shots at.
Alright, you know what it is, Sean? You just earned Nipping of the Week without even trying, bruv. Well done. That's a stellar performance, bruv. Man secured the hat trick without even scoring a goal. I give you props. He got the hat trick.
Perfect hat trick.
Yeah, Rob's saying that he throws shots at Mateta on there, but right now he's redeemed himself just in time to leave in January. Absolutely. Big up Louis. Jordan looks under 5.
Okay, JC has.
I'll take that.
I see someone has a stress/anti-anger ball. Give it to Saha that he can calm down. Well, I agree. He definitely needs to calm down, 100%.
No, I just give him a spliff.
He's talking about this. This is from one of them wrist things. You know them ones.
Sean's banter can't have got to you that bad, has it?
Nah. My grip strength ain't the one. He just needs to. That's all it is.
Don't let the missus hear you say that, Jordan. Careful.
She's right there. So.
What are you trying to be gripping? Like, what's going on?
No. No, you know when you do pull-ups, my fingers start hurting.
Why did you make that so much
worse? Rich, I'm not even gonna lie, between Sean and Klopp and this is gonna be one funny best of,
This is getting on it.
Oh my god!
That's as long as you can find the brace.
I think I know which one it is as well. Actually, sorry, JC. I think I know which one it is.
Good.
The only one that's missing is me saying, "Oh, that's naughty." If I find that one, I'm definitely one that in because I'm just like, "Oh, why did I say it like that? Oh man, shit."
No, I got Rich to put in that what you did yesterday, where you was going mental like this. That was quite funny.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, you got to make it fun somehow. You can't be the same fucking static. Bear in mind, you don't see me changing tips like Hamza. Manchester United, Tottenham. Manchester United, Tottenham. Make up your fucking mind. Which team are you supporting, man?
Yeah, shout out the Spurs community.
100%.
Is that the San Antonio Spurs? Because maybe you should holler at Roland for Pros Only TV. You know what I'm saying? Big up to Roland for the free plug, by the way.
100%. Louis says, as you can tell from my profile pic, Coyote was at the Palace shop yesterday. Oh, he's going to meet Coyote. That's big.
Oh.
100%. And you guys always make me laugh. That's what we're here for, man. Dan, let's not take up any more of your time. Listen, that breakdown was amazing.
Thank you.
And we're gonna sign you up 100%.
Thank you.
And
Nice.
obviously you do.
Well, Dan's Rich is the chairman, so Rich makes them decisions. We don't get a say in this, by the way. It's a democracy that's really an autocracy. Like, trust me.
It is definitely a democracy.
We still ain't seen no contracts. Don't mind this one. Don't mind this guy.
I can get
me and JC have signed no contracts.
I can get
unless there's fees involved, I ain't signing nothing.
You understand? But if I'm getting split 33%, then we're gonna have to chat.
Listen, guys, get us up to the 1K, then we can talk money. 100%. Listen,
man, we need to get merchandise first before we talk money.
Oh, the merch will be cool.
I'm gonna start getting the burner accounts going then.
Yes, Rich. Sorry, yes, Rich.
Listen, as this channel grows, we will eat, man. 100%. 100%. So, guys, listen, big up to all of you. Oh, Dizzy came through. Big up, Dizzy. Comparing Hodgson to VIEIRA is like comparing the Wi-Fi to the Wi-Fi.
Hey, no. Comparing Hodgson to VIEIRA is like taking the train to Sellers Park or the Forces 8 to Sellers Park. One of them gets you there quick, the other one you're there for fucking hours, mate. I've got it from Herne Hill, and trust me, I was like, how the fuck am I only in Crown Hill? What the fuck? Where am I?
We might have to change it from Nippon's Wi-Fi, you know.
Sean's Wi-Fi.
To Sean's Wi-Fi.
Sean's Wi-Fi.
To be fair, Nippon's taken too many shots on here, to be fair to Nippon.
Yeah,
but to be fair, that Arsenal stream was legendary for that. That killed me.
the best. Oh, you know, we'll just call it Sean Signal.
Digicel settings. Eagle-eyed football brought to you by Digicel. Our Wi-Fi is so shit, you'll get this message in 5 weeks' time.
as long as the meter's topped up.
Warning, meter running low.
Utility.
Current balance 5 pence.
Dad, where can they find you?
Shout out, Bradley.
Brad's got both of his accounts active tonight. Oh my word.
Oh, man.
Bradley, my God.
Dad, where can they find you?
Where can you find me? I've just on my Twitter.
Well, I should hope on planet Earth.
Oh, what is it? Where I am right now? Sorry.
No, well, I think he means on social media, but
right, yeah. I'm on Twitter at, down to 10.
I'm sorry.
And then I've got a link. I've got a link tree on there. To be honest, the only thing that's really active is my blog, which is just down to 10 WordPress. Yeah, I would recommend just going onto the Twitter at down to 10, and all my stuff's on there. I got a link tree on there. So yeah, location right now. I'm currently on planet Earth, Wellington.
Just on the cusp of South London. Okay. Okay.
I'm zone 5. Zone 5.
Like I said, the cusp of South London.
just about.
Now, listen, I'm from Southwest London. I can't really talk because a lot of people give me shit about, but you're not really from South London. I'm from South of the River, mate. Don't get it twisted. South of the River, you're from South London. Don't even try that one.
Where's Southwest?
Southwest 15, so that's like near Putney. So I probably should be a Fulham fan, but no, it's like Grandad Club. Nah, less so that. Are you crazy? Bear in mind, Brentford are closer to me than Palace, yeah, but it was like, how the fuck do I get to Brentford? No. See, Palace was easier, just 2 trains. It's like, no, fuck that.
That's the same as me, because technically, Sutton United are closer, but because of the trains, it's so much easier to get to Selhurst. You can roast me whenever you want. I'm good.
Don't give him the invitation. He won't stop.
I like seeing roast. I like it.
Oh no, nothing beats Steve versus Hamzadan. You've seen nothing.
Oh my gosh.
When those two go at it, it's like Darth Vader and Obi-Wan Kenobi. It is mad.
It's relentless. Speaking of roast, we are, I think, 18 short of 500. And as you know, we're going to keep pushing this. If we get there, get to roast me on one stream.
It's when, not if.
Roast Nate. And also roast Jordan. I'm guessing this.
Saving the best for last.
I guess there's going to be a lot of short jokes there.
Oh, I've heard them all, so bring it on.
Right, here we go.
The first one.
Looking like Joe Wilkinson got attacked with scissors.
You know what? A lot of people are liking me to Joe Wilkinson. That's not the first time I've heard that one, strangely enough.
And the roast begins.
Here we go. Yes, make the burner accounts. Do that. Guys, we'll leave you to it. What an absolute amazing stream. Thank you, Dan, once again for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for having me. We
are back tomorrow. Now, we have the West Ham preview with Dan Lawless. He's going to be our guest tomorrow. Dan Lawless has also been on like the Don Radbury channel and that, so like really appreciate him even taking the time to be with us tomorrow. Then I haven't heard back from our guest regarding Eagles abroad, but we should be having the Irish one straight after that, so around 8:30. And so Nate will be running down, and JC will be there too. And then I
can have somebody from here. I can have somebody from over here jump in if we can't get hold of this guy, because I've got a couple of my guys about to be able to jump in.
Oh, wicked, yeah. If
I can holler at some people, because I can holler at the supporters club and say, listen, anybody that wants to come in, I'll interview them.
Yeah, wicked. At least we got a backup there, just in case. And then, funny enough, after Dan's on our channel, I'll be going on to his for a preview as well tomorrow. So it's a lot going on, man. And and if there's any clips from any of our streams that you've just found hilarious, message myself, Nate, or Jordan. We are creating the best of 2021 from all of our streams. We've got 20 minutes worth of content so far. We'd love to get more, but we're going to get this out New Year's Eve in the evening. So something to look forward to before the new year as such. So, let's get that through to any of us ASAP. And that's it. Guys, like, share, subscribe as always. This has been amazing.
Rich, before we go, if you don't spontaneously combust, I'll be amazed if Steph still has a husband, because your output is incredible, bruv. My Lord. No, listen, big up, Rich, big up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not even trying to hate, bruv. Like, I'm just looking at it going, how does this man's wife have patience? Because this guy must be on fire. You're like Benteke after we played the Seaweed. Remember, he had all that smoke out of his head. That's this guy, man. He's just on just like, boy.
You know what it is? I have to box clever with this. Like, I have to make sure that I treat her right as well and give her time and stuff like that. And this is 100% the reason why I appreciate you and JC so much, because honestly, there's all these ideas, they're not me. And guys, I want you, whenever you think Eagle Eye Football, don't just think me. It's not that. It's us. You know what I mean? And the work rate you lot are putting in as well, like, definitely really, really appreciate it. So
listen, I don't need an excuse to talk ish. I just knew it would be a good idea for a show name. I said, I love talking ish. That's a good name for a show. Me and JC talk a whole heap of ish. You know what? I think we've got an idea to give Rich the night off. And there's like, he gave us our own show. The fool. The poor, misguided, trusting fool. But to be fair, hey, whoa, careful. What I'm saying is that he trusts us. Oh, God. Now we have to make this work. But to be fair, I love the show. It's wicked.
It is.
And the next one's going to be so fun. The ideas I've got are going to be so much fun.
Yeah, 100%. And those will keep rolling out as well. So yeah, guys, we've said like bye for the last 20 minutes. We've been sitting there. Guys, we're out.
Hey, up the palace.
See you tomorrow.
Out the palace.